Although this is kind of an I told you so type of a video, it really isn't I told you so. It's more like the Bible told you so and told me so. And so we should be happy that we can rely on the scriptures, and yet at the same time, we can be sad for many of the things that we're seeing around. Now, I want to read this article really quickly to you. It is entitled, and aptly so, Russia Admits Weaponization of Gas, Halts NS1 shipments until sanctions are lifted as EU prepares response to energy crisis. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what's going on. Let me read the article to you, and this is a big deal, okay? It says this. It says, Putin is done playing around. 2 days after Russia indefinitely halted natural gas supplies via the Nord Stream 1 pipeline for the amusing reason that there was an oil leak, on Monday, Russia finally admitted that everyone has known since February, namely that it has weaponized commodities in response to the West's weaponization of currencies. And this is very interesting, right? It says, as Zoltan Pozar has said all along, when the Kremlin said that Russia's gas supplies to Europe via the Nord Stream 1 pipeline will not resume in full until the collective West lifts its sanctions against Moscow over its invasion in Ukraine. Now, I know that by the time you'll be reading this, this will be somewhat of an old story, but many of you will not have heard about it because it's not going to be in the mainstream media. Because the bottom line is this: Russia has, for the most part, pretty much won. And in all honesty, we are going to watch Europe gently begin to capitulate to all of Russia's demands because they are not going to allow their citizens to freeze and thus perhaps maybe even create some kind of a rebellion against the government that is making all of these decisions. Now, this is remarkably important because when everybody started saying that Russia wasn't going to prevail for what they're doing with the Ukraine, and everybody was saying that this is not going to happen and there's no way that Russia's going to be successful, we were saying prepare yourself because this is going to be a long-haul battle. And because Europe kind of pushed Putin back into a corner and put him in the position that he's in, he is going to fight back, and actually he's going to win. And how do we know that? Because in Ezekiel 38, it tells us that Russia will be in a strong place when it attacks Israel, and God will be the only one that will effectively defend Israel, and that will be the only reason why Russia actually loses. So we know they're going to be strong based on Ezekiel 38, and here's another very interesting implication that may be coming from this, and that is the European Union, as well as many other nations that might not necessarily be member nations of the EU, are talking about consolidating as countries and coming together as a small conglomerate of nations in order to produce the best result for their citizens. Folks, we might be even looking at the very beginnings of the organizing of the 10 nations that we read about in the book of Revelation. This one's crazy. Yeah, we told you so, but the reality of it is God said it, not us. And so we know what the word of God says. And folks, this one's crazy, but we shouldn't be surprised. God bless you guys. Times are changing and Jesus is coming.